Millionaire, if you don't hit the lottery, where you get your money from? These churches, singers, baseball players, basketball players, you know, the sports, and the ministers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they came in with that faith-based initiative, and the ministers sold us out. So, some of them did not, but some of them did. So, if you want to be an entrepreneur and have control of your own money, that's what we're talking about today. We're not only talking about hip-hop. We've only played one song so far. We got a couple of more songs to sing, to play, so don't get discouraged, because we're talking about real things from real people. And not just, you know I'm an old hen and I have old ways, because I feel like you need to pull them pans up, you need to turn them hats around, and you need to be decent and understand how, if you need to go get a job, how to present yourself to go get a job.
Yeah.
Am I off key again?
No. Let me elaborate on that. I mean, it's about balance. You know what I mean? It's about learning when and where to have your pants and your hat backwards, and knowing how to go pick out that, you know, Brooks Brothers suit and throw on that suit and tie and type up a resume and present yourself, and, you know, in a different situation, because, you know, you can't be, I mean, we're, you know, circles 360 degrees. We're not all the same people at all the time. You know, we feel different emotions, we react to different things at different times, you know what I mean? But you still have to know when and where to be, you know, to show that side of that personality. You know, I'm a student at Cincinnati State. I'm majoring in accounting. So, you know, obviously when I go on a co-op interview or, you know, anything like internship, I'm not going to be dressed like this. But, you know, when I'm doing me, when I'm doing my one life thing, when I'm doing my hip hop, this is me. And that doesn't take any side or take anything away from what I'm trying to pursue over here. It's just that I know how to distinguish and separate the two, and I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't, you know, they want to be just one person 24/7. You can't be hard 24/7. Nobody is like that. You know, we're compassionate. We're human beings, you know, first and foremost. And I think as African Americans, we need to stop being narrow-minded and narrow-sighted, and we need to see that how a lot of things that aren't in our community still affect us. You know what I mean? You know, picking up a book. If you can't afford to go to college, it's okay to pick up a book and take from it what you want, you know, yourself. That's how I learned a lot of things.
Okay. Okay, you want to add some?
That sums it up. We on the same page, so that's
okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I went in the Air Force in order to get my undergraduate degree, and that was a whole lot. That's a whole nother story about the way they treated women in the military. But when I was in college, that was back in the 80s. We had to go to the library. We had to look up, you know, how to look up a book. You had to go to the little index cards and look it up, and then go to the, you know, where it is. Now, the internet, all you have to do is just put in what you want to know, and it's right there. It's no excuse. You could Google a person, you could Google a thing, you could Google an idea. It is no excuse not to have some kind of knowledge. And if it's, you know, the world is so big and so much knowledge, what are you interested in? What would you like to, you know, get some understanding about? Just one thing. And that one thing, you could penetrate it really deep and understand a lot about it, and tell your best friend or your mother or your sister or your brother. You know what I found out? And that's how we're going to share information with one another. The colleges, now I'm going to tell you, and I hate to even say this, but I do have a master's degree, and at the time I was married, and my husband said, you were smarter before you went to college. You know, but I do have a master's degree, and at the time I was married, and my husband said, you were smarter before you went to college. You know, you had common sense, and they erased all of that. So what I'm saying to you, you don't necessarily have to go to college. And I don't want to say that, because what they want is that piece of paper to say you did go to college. But some people just may not be college material. And so don't feel down on yourself because society says that you must be blonde hair, blue-eyed, flat stomach, and educated to make it in this world. I don't have a blonde hair. Oh, I got a couple of blonde streaks. I don't have blue eyes. I'm educated and still unemployed because real estate and the loans have gone downhill, and my stomach is no longer flat. But you still have to feel good about yourself. I don't care who you are, because you know why your stomach is not flat and why you're so big. Even the young people, the things that they're putting in the food. So you are a victim of that. They say drink a lot of water, then they turn around and say don't drink the water because the plastic is melting off, you know, because it's all about money, and plastic was the cheapest way to get the water to you. But if you keep it in your car and it gets too hot, then the plastic start melting off and those chemicals go in your body, and all these things retain weight. So don't get confused. Love yourself. Look in the mirror, take off your clothes, and you can get kind of, you look, sometimes I'll be like, oh my God. But you know, you got to love yourself. It took me a long time before I loved me. It took a long time because, you know, I was going to, first the Air Force is like, you're a woman, you shouldn't even been in the military. And then I go to University of South Carolina. They like, oh no, you did A material, but I'm gonna give you a D. So every A that I made at the University of South Carolina, I should have got a triple A. The things I did, I had a slight, didn't understand fully, and I did B material, I got a C. And don't let me do C material just fair. They would give you a D or F. And the University of Cincinnati was worse. They was absolutely worse. And when you do your very best and you know you did your very best and you get an F or a D, that'll kill your spirit. So that's why I say if you go on the internet and Google, you don't get an effort, you just get an E for effort, and you learn something. I don't care how your comprehension level is, because reading fast, that don't mean you can read. And driving fast don't mean you could drive. I had to throw that one in because, we have to really, share things. That's why I decided to do this show. I have a lot to share with you that I know that I know. Now, things I don't know, then I'm going to look it up. So these young men know that they know about rapping, right?
I want to elaborate on what you said about loving yourself. First, before you have, even before you get to that point, you have to understand where you come from, or where we come from. And I want to speak, particularly about African Americans. We come from great people, the greatest country, arguably one of the greatest civilizations ever known to man, Egypt, kings and queens. That's where we come from. That's whose blood we have running in our veins, and we have to start carrying ourselves as such, as kings and queens. My brother and I, we talk a lot about that in our music as well, and we incorporate that into the music also. But we really have to start understanding where we come from and who we are to understand who we are. So.
And I want to throw something in there real quick. You're right, we come from Egypt. My grandson graduated from high school, and I didn't have any money. My sales were down, and all I had was a world, because I believe in keeping a world always in my house. So I gave him my world. And he started looking at it. I said, he probably don't even appreciate it. He came back with his eyes big, talking about, Granny. I was like, what? He's like, Egypt is in Africa. I'm like, yeah, most people know that. He said, no, that's not what they taught us. They taught us about Egypt and how great it was. And I just thought it was a place somewhere else. I never knew it was in Africa. So if nothing else, if you didn't learn anything else today,
that's deep.
Egypt is in Africa, and Egypt was supposed to be where civilization started, and Egypt had great kings and queens, and Egypt is in Africa. They don't want to let you know that, but I'm here to let you know.
A lot of stuff that we've done, you can say eat the Egyptians with the pyramids, and the Arabs with mathematics, everything,